Are you tired of using your physical Dreamcast games, or maybe are some of them starting to get worn out because of how old they are? Well, then you're in luck because today we are doing a very simple mod called the GDEMU. Hey, what's up everyone? Game Dad here, and welcome back to part 2 of creating the ultimate Dreamcast. In part 1, we got rid of that nasty yellow shell and replaced it with this really cool, like, clear translucent shell. And what we're going to do today is actually get the GDEMU mod installed. And what this is it gives you the ability to actually go in and play the ROM files, or I believe in a Dreamcast case it is a CDI file or a GDI file, something like that. But it allows you to play them off of an SD card. Now, the specific kit that I bought actually came with a pre-3D printed little adapter here. That way you're not having to reach down in the console every time you want to reset or swap the SD card. This one actually has a little SD card bay right here, including an extra slot to put an additional SD card in case you're wanting to swap them out. It even comes with a fancy little injection molded Dreamcast button to hit that reset button on the GDEMU. So, let's go ahead and get this Dreamcast taken apart, and I will show you just how easy it is to install the GDEMU mod. Alright, so here we have that clear shell Dreamcast, and first things first, we need to take the little broadband adapter off of it. That way we can get to the final screw on the bottom. So, there are only 4 screws. They are all Phillips, which is very nice, and forgive the painted nails. I have daughters, and I took them out for a daddy-daughter date, and they decided that it would be awesome if Dad painted his nails. So I hope you all like my pink and orange. It will be there until they tell me I can remove it, and if any of you have daughters, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And just in case Jay is watching, which I'm sure he is, I am using a screw tray this time. Apparently I gave him severe anxiety because I just had the screws strewn about, and I think that's hilarious. But I won't torture him a second time. So we're getting these 4 screws out of the corners. Maybe, there we go. Then we flip this back over, pop off that top. Now I will say, because this is the translucent shell and everything, I actually will have an LED mod coming that will kind of help illuminate this whole thing, make it look kind of cool. And I also have a power mod coming. I have a battery holder mod coming. I have a knock to a fan mod coming. I have all kinds of mods coming for this. So I'll probably end up doing one video where I kind of upgrade all the small little mods all at once. But for now, let's get this top shell out of the way. Now, we don't actually have to touch really anything else in here. All we have to do is take out the actual drive. So we're going to go in right here. There's a screw down on the side. And we're going to get that screw out of there. There's one. Don't worry, Jay. It went into the tray. I didn't put it in any specific spot, but it's in the tray. And another one. And then we got one more right over here. And we throw that one down. Now, this whole thing should just pop right off, in theory. There we go. Now, it just had a little connection right here, and that connection, hey, look at that. Looks kind of familiar, huh? So, now, this is still a perfectly good working drive, and I could easily just swap it back in if I wanted this to be original, but I don't want it to be original, and I don't care. Now, here is the actual mod itself. But before we install this, I have this handy little injection molded thing here. So what I'm going to do is get this all installed. So first we got to drop the little reset button in, and then we take this SD card spot. We slide that in, and basically this is just kind of an extender right here. And then we drop this down. There are 2 little mounting hole areas here, so we're going to go ahead and get the screws in for those. Luckily, this kit, it came with all the screws that I need. I don't have to recycle or find anything else or anything like that. So we'll screw this one down. Now remember, as always, what I always remind everyone of, when you are putting screws back into plastic, make sure you give them a little backup turn. That way you are not cross-threading and creating new threads, because the plastic will very quickly run out. This, however, is new plastic with no threads, so I don't have to back it out first. I'm just kind of going right in there. Now, when I put these back into the actual shell, the actual screws there, those I will have to vacuum up because we cut the threads in the last video. So now I got to be able to put it back together again without stripping it. So now that that's in there, we got a nice little Dreamcast reset button. We have an SD card slot holder, and I'll show you guys that right there. You just drop that in, holds it nicely. And then we've also got our actual SD card slot. Take that out. Now, all we got to do is put this guy right in here where it goes. It will just kind of sandwich down on there, and actually I'm noticing the ribbon cable for this extender is kind of in the way, so I'm just going to smush this down out of the way a bit. Luckily it is a flexible ribbon cable, so that means I'm not going to damage it by doing this. Okay, there we go. And we're going to take this. Now, this also did come with some extra supports, and I wasn't sure off the top of my head where they would go, so I wanted to see how this lined up first. So it looks like I need one of the posts in this one right here, and where is that going to line up with? So we put that there. That is going to line up with this hole. There is no way that that is going to go through, but I think this screw will. Let's find out. So it looks like, now if I use this big screw, there ain't no way. It'll probably go into the motherboard if I do that, but let's find out here. So if I push this right here, I have massive hands that are in the way. Okay, it is definitely threaded for that. The instructions, I will say, were not very good, and they were in another language, but they did give this little spacer, so I'm assuming that's so that you do not drive the screw into the motherboard. So we're going to go ahead, drop that down like that, put that there. Yeah, it won't go into the motherboard now. Okay, so I'm going to line this up, smush it down into place. There we go. That's good, it looks like. Maybe. Let's see. There. Line up this screw. Now, I don't know how necessary this extra screw is, because this is the first mod I've ever actually seen of the GDEMU where it has this little screw and spacer like this. So it might not even be necessary, but I mean, it has it, so why not? There we go. That is screwed down in place. Now, I will say it doesn't look like this is actually connected very well. But it is lining up, and it is smushed down. Maybe it is connected and it's just my eyeballs. There we go, we got that button in place, and now this will actually fill the gap of where the other piece was. Now, they did give some extra parts here, and I'm assuming that's just if you don't use this, but we're gonna go ahead and throw the shell back on and see how it fits. All right, so we put this top shell right over the top like so. And there we go, smushes down. And then if we hit that open button, as you can see, it is very nicely molded into that spot right there. We've got our reset, everything looks good to go. So that's awesome. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the screws back in, and then I will show all of you how to actually get the card formatted, ready to go, and put a ROM on it. That way, or ISO, whatever you want to call it. That way we can have it on there and get this thing up and running. All right, so it is actually pretty easy to go ahead and get going with being able to format this card. And what you want to do is go to gdemu.wordpress.com/links, and on there you will find information about installation, operation, where you can order stuff. They have the 3D printable parts here, and then they even have the different stuff as far as software you can download. Now, what I did was just actually download from the MediaFire link so that I could just get the INI file. So you can see all I've done here is, after formatting this SD card, I copied over the INI file, including this O1 folder, and in there, that has the CDI file, which is like the boot menu for the GDEMU, and that allows you to get access to extra settings, things like that. And then what you want to do is every time you add a new game is you make, folder 02, 03, 04. So what I did, I threw in Sonic Adventure and then Sonic Adventure 2. And then I also threw in a Tony Hawk game just for, a little bit of variety in there. And now what this does is whenever you load this up into your GDEMU on your Dreamcast,
it starts in folder 1, it loads up their menu, and then from there, that menu reads the subsequent folders and allows you to play the games off there. And oftentimes it will even be pulling down artwork and everything else. Now, there are different softwares you can use that, kind of make this a more streamlined process, but honestly, this was super easy. I just created a folder and I dragged the CDI file into it and it's good to go. And then all you do is just plop this into your GDEMU in your Dreamcast and you are off and playing. So it's a very simple process. Anyone can do this very easily, and I will have the link to this site in the description down below.
Select a character.
Let's get him!
So there you have it, everyone. That is how you add the GDEMU to your Dreamcast. It was very simple. The whole thing is just plug and play. I think it was a total of like 7 screws, and 3 of them you didn't even need after the fact because they went to the old disk drive. So very easy to install, very easy to add games onto the SD card. And if you don't have a really big SD card, they give you an extra slot there. That way you can store one there. Maybe you have, homebrews on one and official titles on the other. Now, I will say I do not endorse piracy of any kind. I will not tell anyone where I got the ROMs, and the ROMs that I showed in this video are games that I do legally own. I am all for having legal backups of all of your games. That way, if something ever happens, you still have a way to play it, especially because some of the games nowadays are insanely expensive, and if something happens to it. So keep in mind, piracy is illegal, and it hurts everyone in the long run, so just don't do it. Now, I will leave a link in the description down below. That way, if you want to pick up one of these mods for yourself and do this mod, then you would be able to do so. And while you're checking out the link in the description, please be sure to head on down to the comment section and let me know what you thought about today's video. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell. That way you get an alert every time I got a new video coming out. There are more parts to this Ultimate Dreamcast series coming out, so be sure to hit that bell. That way you're notified whenever they do go live. Also, if you like what I do here and you're interested in helping to support the channel each and every month, then please consider becoming a channel member or head on over to patreon.com/GameDadShow, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get early ad-free access to all of my videos, including getting your name in the end credits of every one of my videos, like the fine folks that you see above right now, including Gary over at Rock Solid Productions. Now, as always, I'm Game Dad. I thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.